side, it's who's making the sausage. Girl, you right here in front?
You want me to just yell?
She's coming.
Sorry, making you run around.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Eman or Emmanuel from Eman's Movie Reviews and the Movie Blog in Chicago. So 3D printing, deep fakes, technology is obviously moving forward. Is there any technology that's currently, you know, spurring new ideas that have you guys fascinated and, you know, just inspiring you to do something better and cooler?
Genetic engineering.
Okay.
Do you want me to go? I would say that a lot of AI technologies, you know, figuring out how we can automate and really get more natural reactions from characters that we make, and you know, on stagecraft, for example, when we use our real-time technology to populate the scenes, there are happy accidents that happen when we're using that technology, because it is running and it's running live, and just like in real practical filmmaking, there's things that you can't plan that happen on stagecraft that are just naturally generated through the real-time tech. That's what I love. It's finding that new new way to do things that are actually repeating traditional techniques, but there are the things that you can't plan. That's what I'm really excited about right now.
And I'd like to add to that it's been proven now that anything you want to put on a screen is possible to capture, but that doesn't mean that you should. I mean, you know, visual effects, no matter how they're made, even if you go back to the days of building a model and, you know, shooting it against a blue screen, it's a tool for telling a story. And personally, I don't like it when somebody comes out of a theater and says, "Wow, what great special effects," you know, because that, to me, that means you weren't fully engaged in the story that some director is trying to tell. So they should. I believe that effects should be used sparingly, and there shouldn't be one more effect in a film that you don't actually need. It should be about telling the story, as you know, at the bottom of it all.
Let me just add one thing. I think that we need to do a little more investigation as to what reality is visually, because I think a lot of the effects work is falling short. And if it just can notch up a little more, it'll be more real. And to go with what Joe's saying, then you're more into the movie. Not that everything has to just look real, but if you're trying to make something like in a familiar environment like that, the closer that gets, so then you can add your fantasy, but into real, then the experience will be stronger and the emotional reaction will be stronger.
Yeah, I have a different take on that, you know, and I never really aspired to real, and maybe because a lot of it was because you can never achieve that. It's only going to be a simulation. So to use the imaginative process and be theatrical and make things hyper-real, because you're in a dream. You're in a cinematic dream. And to make things just, hold them from another dimension of imagination and put them into this thing so that you trick the viewer's mind in a way. It is real in their mind because it is new, but it's not like, real. And so reality is a really mercurial thing that I think that, I don't know, would you agree with that in designing things? That you're not trying to make something real, but you're trying to make something like, wow!
Well, you're trying to make something feel real. You're trying to make something that, everybody knows it's not real. Everybody knows that this spaceship is not flying. But if you're engaged in the story, you forget all that. And that's why I don't think it matters if the entire audience knows how a visual effect is done. you're engaged in the story, and you're going to forget about all that, about how it's achieved. You're engaged in what the director's trying to tell you.
Well, about 8 or 9 years ago, I remember reading an interview that Bob Zemeckis gave. And of course, Bob's so visually progressive, always thinking, creative collaborator, you know, and always pushing the medium. And he said, we've reached a point with digital effects where most you know, serious audience members who really love, you know, cinema, they know that anything is possible. So you no longer can a film carry its weight by simply dazzling you. And he said, this is a call to action for directors and storytellers and writers, because now it's back to story. You know, there was a little window of time when you could just, you know, show them stuff that they'd never seen before, and that was, you know, almost enough reason to be in the theater. Not anymore. And you know, and I think that's it's a great thing. I think that was concise and clear and correct. And I think it does all come back to, you know, what does a story have to say?
Keep this party going.